regular season. Tyler was already crying off camera because he said he was going to miss sitting beside me so much in this regular season.
Hey, we could have like 2 more months of this if the Oilers go on a deep enough run.
Hopefully. All right, Oilers Nation, how are you feeling? Happy game day. The weather outside isn't too bad. Finally, hopefully over winter. And we're getting into this nice spring and summer. But also, let's talk about it. A nice 5-1 win for the boys over the Penguins. Like, we talked about coming out of that kind of, I don't want to call it a bad loss because we did what we had to do. The Oilers made the playoffs, but it was a tough loss, maybe an ugly loss for the Oilers against the Blue Jackets.
It was a wake-up call.
It was a wake-up call. We like that. And 5-1 against the Penguins.
Yeah, Penguins team that, it's kind of been up and down over the last month, but there's still a good group over there. And Edmonton just kind of, they gave it to him. Like 5-1, that game was never really in doubt. They put up 42 shots on Casey DeSmith. It was once again kind of scoring from everywhere. I know Kassian got the empty netter, but McDavid, Hyman, Bouchard, Kane. So everywhere was kind of chipping in again, and it just felt like a really complete effort from the Oilers.
Bag Milk right now is airdropping us photos.
Oh my God, stop it.
Honestly,
I'm declining all of those.
I love working here. It's so fun. Okay, so right now, let's talk about the fact that when Hot Dog was on this table right here, when his cute little 4 paws touched this table, he predicted that Evander Kane would score. And who scored in the game against the Pens? Yep, Hot Dog guessed it, Evander Kane. 6 goals in his last 4, 10 points in his last 6. We talk about this heater he's on, but he keeps going.
Yeah, he just keeps finding the back of the net. And he had a handful of other scoring chances against Pittsburgh that didn't go in either. So, it's the heater of all heaters for Evander Kane, and hopefully he can keep it going. Bag Milk needs to be stopped.
Bag Milk needs to join us on the show. Bag Milk, come on in here. Okay, let's talk about Connor McDavid. 1 goal, 3 assists on the night. Currently has 122 points on the season. This is the most points Connor has ever had in a regular season in his entire NHL career. He has to keep this going into the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, he absolutely does. But, I mean, it's an unreal year for McDavid. 2 games to go. He's at 122 points. No one except for me cares about this, but at the beginning of the year, I bet on him to go over 126.5 points.
Nice.
So, Connor, you got 122. I need 5 more from you in the last couple games, big man, and we will be all squared up. I'll be happy with you. Not that I'm not happy with you now. But, yeah, it's been great. Like, look at his game log even. In his last 4 games, all multi-points. It's a 4-pointer, a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, and a 3-pointer. That is unbelievable. Who does stuff like that? Just crazy from McDavid. And again, like, there's a handful of reasons why I think this Oilers team is built to be successful in the playoffs this year. One of them is McDavid's having a historic year. Him and Draisaitl have not spent as much time together this year as they have in years past. I think that's something heading into the playoffs. If you don't have a coach who just immediately, as soon as one thing goes wrong, wants to put them back together on the top line, I think keeping them separate, the fact they've been productive that way this season, that could be a matchup nightmare for other teams. And if Nugent Hopkins is now on your third line and suddenly has some support on his wings, whether it's Puljujarvi or Yamamoto on that right side, then I think you're even looking at, a third line that can do some damage. So this team is deep. The big guns have been performing all year, and I think they're really, really built to keep this rolling into Game 1 against LA.
Will in our Facebook chat puts it best, McDavid went nuclear. And I like the sound of that, hey?
Yeah, he absolutely did. Like a 4-point game. And he only played 19 minutes. Like that was the last time McDavid played that little in a hockey game. It's been 4 games. So like it's not like they had to play him a ton for him to get these 4 points. Like he's just producing seemingly every time he's on the ice.
We love to see it. Okay, before I get into my next topic, there's a lot of fans in our Facebook chat who have urgency to find out if there's any news on Nurse.
No, still no news on Darnell Nurse. We left the window open. Should we close the window? We're going to close the window live on the pregame show. They're doing construction outside? No, they're chopping a tree down.
No! Guys, you know what? If you ever chop a tree down, you should plant like 5 in place. And hopefully that's what they're doing. And if they're not, I'm going to go tell them that.
All right. We might wrap up quickly then.
After our giant pregame show presented by
Darnell Nurse. No Darnell Nurse tonight. No Darnell Nurse tomorrow. I think the plan is that he'd be ready for Game 1, but they're kind of just being a little coy with that. Like, they're not going to come out. It's playoffs, right? This is the times where you're playing games in the media. You don't want to show your hand to the opposition. They don't want the LA Kings to know if Darnell Nurse is going to be in the lineup for Game 1 until half an hour before Game 1 when he's on the ice for warm-up. So it's quiet. He's not going to play tonight, not going to play tomorrow. Game 1, we'll see, but I'm pretty confident he'll be playing.
I agree. All right, Evan Bouchard. He scored against the Avs, scored another goal against the Pens, a rookie defenseman who has managed to score 12 goals and have 30 assists so far on the season. We have to, as Oilers fans, be really happy what Bouchard's done this season for us.
Yeah, he is 28th in scoring amongst defensemen in the NHL. And if you just sort by even strength points, because again, remember, he isn't getting a lot of power play time like some of the other high-end defensemen around the league. 35 even strength points. That is tied with Brent Burns. That is ahead of guys like Colton Parayko, Aaron Ekblad, Noah Hannafin, Jacob Slavin, Zach Werenski, Charlie McAvoy, Quinn Hughes. He's outproducing at even strength some of the best offensive defensemen in the NHL. It's crazy what he's been able to do this year as basically a rookie. I know technically, according to the NHL, he's not a rookie, but this is really his first season of full-time NHL duty. And what he's done is stepped up and given the Oilers elite offensive production. I know there's been like some down parts in his defensive game, maybe for a few stretches, hasn't been great. That's going to come with a rookie. But for the most part, Evan Bouchard has just been dynamic for this Oilers blue line. It's unreal.
I love it. Okay, and also we had a little bit of Zach star power against the Pens. Both Zach Hyman and Zach Kassian scoring. Kassian scoring his first goal since January 15th. So that must have been a nice one for him to get. And a guy that the Oilers need to show up. The Oilers I don't think they need him to show up, but they're better when Zach Kassian comes to play and brings that physicality and everything that he does to the game.
It's been talked about so much. That 2017 Zach Kassian, what an impact he made on that series against San Jose. And you're right, they don't need Zach Kassian because this team is deep enough without him. But if Zach Kassian can be a source of energy and give you a little bit of offense, it's going to go a long ways in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you know he's a guy who's capable of doing it as well. And I think that's what's the frustrating part for Oilers fans is like they've seen him be that disruptive force who gets under the skin of the other team so many times in games against Calgary back in 2017. He's capable of doing it. You just don't see it consistently enough. If you get that coming down the stretch and into round one, and I get it was an empty netter, and people will be like, oh yeah, he needed a goalie to be pulled in order for him to score. Maybe it's a confidence builder for Kassian. He's a guy to watch.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Mike Smith, 33 saves on the night. Solidified himself now as the starting goaltender for the Edmonton Oilers. And maybe, just maybe, are we feeling confident in Mike Smith's consistency in between the pipes?
You should be if you're an Oilers fan. I mean, if you look at the goalies who have played regular duty since the beginning of March, so we'll set that at, let's say, goalies who have played at least 8 games in the last basically 2 months, Mike Smith's save percentage is #1 in the NHL at .936. His goals against average of .213 is top 3 in the NHL since March 1st amongst starters. So it's been an unreal run. In that time, he's got a record of 11-2-1. Basically, since Jay Woodcroft's come in, his numbers have been above average. And how many times did we say throughout the regular season, if this team gets average goaltending, they're going to go far?
Yeah.
So Mike Smith can slip off what he's doing right now. I think everyone recognizes this is a heater from the Oilers veteran. But if he slips up just a little bit and he can consistently give the Oilers .915 goaltending in the playoffs, they're winning a round. They're probably winning more than a round as well.
That's what everyone right now. We got Jake in the Facebook chat saying he hasn't been this excited about the playoffs since 2017. It feels like there's a real hope this year. And I was thinking about that the other night. Like there's actually, and I knock on wood, there's potential here.
Oh, yeah.
There's absolute potential here.
Mm-hmm.
Or did you do something special?
Yeah, and I think that's what the vibes around the team are right now. Like, this is a group that's deep enough up front. Their blue line, when it's healthy, I think is fully capable of holding it together and avoiding those costly mistakes. And they have a goalie who's shown that if he gets hot, or if he stays hot, I guess, he can steal you hockey games. The other thing, too, Electronic Jordan. How about Mike Smith just missing that empty net?
I know.
He was skating. He was getting ready to do the flyby at the bench. Like, he was all the way at the bench. And John, it just rolled up.
I'm telling you guys, everyone is peaking at the right time. Yeah. This is what you want to see right before the playoffs. So I'm really pumped to see what's happening, what's going to happen come playoff time. All right, opposition report?
Yeah, let's dig into it here because this is a San Jose team that is more than beatable for the Oilers. Yes. And it's interesting because this isn't like it's a meaningless game for the Oilers standings-wise, but you want to keep the confidence going.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, definitely beatable. The Sharks close to the bottom in the Pacific, 3-4-3 in their last 10, coming off of a 5-2 loss against the Ducks. Tyler, we were just talking about it. No game is a guaranteed win, but this is definitely a team and a game where the Oilers should finish the night with 2 points. Yeah. And imagine winning this game and their game tomorrow and heading into the playoffs on like the absolute best momentum. Yeah,
you want to be playing your best hockey come playoff time. The Oilers also on home ice have just been so good. 12-1-1 since March 1st. The Sharks are 3-7-4 on the road in that span. They haven't been playing great hockey as of late. I think they only have 3 wins in their last 10 games as well. So, yeah, not a lot going well right now for San Jose. They did have a big shootout victory victory over the Vegas Golden Knights earlier in the week, and that felt like a playoff game. They really, really got up for that one. They were talking about it in the media as well. But they're coming off a loss as well. They got a minus 46 goal difference. Like, there's a lot of reasons why the Oilers should come out and just handle this Sharks team relatively easily tonight.
Nice. All right, let's get into the lines for the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, let's do it. The top line is definitely the one you want to watch. Tomas Hertl with Timo Meier and Alexander Barabanov. Barabanov, a pending UFA. Interesting situation there this summer. Second line is Logan Couture with Matt Nieto and Nick Bonino. 3 goals in his last 5 games for Nick Bonino. Thomas Bordeleau, the first-round pick who just signed. He's playing with Rudolfs Balcers and Noah Gregor. Sasha Chamelski. Scott Reedy and Jonah Gajovic are the fourth line for the Sharks, the all-name line for San Jose. Mario Ferraro with Brent Burns, Jacob Megna with Nicholas Malash, Mark-Edouard Vlasic with Ryan Merkley is the third pairing for the San Jose Sharks, and starting between the pipes for them is going to be James Reimer. He's allowed 18 goals against in his last 5 starts, so he started the year really, really well. He slipped off a little bit as of late here, but certainly a guy the Oilers should be able to get a few past.
Nice. And how about for the Edmonton Oilers?
Interesting line combos for the Oilers
Ooh,
tonight.
Nice. A shakeup.
Yeah, a little bit of a shakeup here because Jesse Puljujarvi is back from his illness, and he is back on the top line with Connor McDavid and Evander Kane. Evander Kane, 6 goals in his last 5 games. We talked about that heater earlier. Draisaitl with Hyman and Yamamoto, so Yamo gets moved back down to the second line. Nugent Hopkins with Warren Fogle and Derek Ryan, and I did get a text from Jay. Warren Fogle is Hot Dog's pick to score tonight. Ryan McLeod with Zach Cassian and Derek Brassard is the fourth line for the Edmonton Oilers. D pairings looking a little different as well. Chris Russell is going to draw out. Brett Kulak's playing with Cody Ceci on the top pair. Duncan Keith with Evan Bouchard is the second pair. And Philip Broberg has been recalled from the Bakersfield Condors. I think this is a great move. He's going to play on the third pairing with Tyson Barrie. There's a good chance you need Philip Broberg at some point in the playoffs. You know, there's going to be injuries at some point if you go on a long run. So having Broberg up, giving him a couple games at the end of the season, I think that's a great decision. And Mikko Koskinen gets the start between the pipes. He's allowed 9 goals in his last 2 games. Certainly looking to bounce back a little bit here.
Yeah, that's not a pretty stat to see or hear, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Well, okay, first of all, I'm superstitious. So the fact that Hot Dog wore that jersey and his cute little paws touched this table, at some point, if this starts to become a trend, he needs to do that every playoff.
He's got to come back, yeah.
But I'm glad to hear that he has his picks in because that guy figured it out for the last one. Bet of the game, Tyler. Presented by PointsBet. What are you thinking?
Yeah, the Oilers are big favorites in this one, like minus 341 on the money line, minus 136 on the puck line as well. I mean, McDavid to go over 1.5 points feels like free money at this point, but that's only paying out minus 130. If you think McDavid can go 3+ points tonight, which I'm certainly hoping he has, it's paying plus 200 as well. You know, there's a few spots here. I think the Oilers team total set at 4 goals is a pretty good spot to jump at, paying minus 115. So I'll probably be in on that as well. James Reimer over 30.5 saves on PointsBet is paying even money. That's a new one our friends at PointsBet have put out. The Oilers have been throwing a ton of shots on goal. So I think expecting Reimer to face, 38, 39 shots tonight, even if he gives up 5-6 goals, the over would hit there. If you're Hot Dog and you're looking to place some biscuits here on an Oilers goal scorer, just looking for Warren Fogle's odds quickly. Plus 410, so a pretty good payout there on Fogle. Jesse Puljujarvi's plus 250 in his return to the lineup.
How about Evander Kane?
Evander Kane, if you think he's going to score again,
I do.
plus 115. So the payout's not great, but the guy's been automatic as of late.
Yeah, I would take that.
Liam, any shot props you like tonight?
I was looking at Bouchard again, but it's gone up to 140 now.
Minus 140?
Minus 140 for 2.5.
Wow.
Draisaitl plus 120. He's become close the last few games. There's not really a ton. Like Evander Kane, 3.5 shots plus 125.
Yeah, he's been ripping the pill recently. Bouchard had 6 shots on goal last game. Kane has hit that over in 4 straight as well. So if you're into the shot prop game, one, you can download our new betting podcast, BLT Bets, and give that a listen because we talked about our favorite props there. Liam, myself, and Bagged Milk have a new pod. But yeah, shot props tonight. Kane and Bouchard, I don't mind them.
Who came up with that name? Because that's genius.
Is Liam.
It's Liam.
That's actually how the pod. We weren't even going to do a podcast, and then Liam said, if we ever did a podcast, we should call it BLT Sandwich.
I love that.
The name was so good, we had to start the podcast.
Producer Liam. Spitting magic here. I love it. All right, guys. I think off the top, I forgot to mention that this is your giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford. But there's a lot going on. So thank you for tuning in. We have one more game tomorrow.
One more game.
I know. It's crazy. So everyone enjoy the game tonight, and we'll be back here with you tomorrow.